What's going on YouTube? This is Deke back with another Sorare video. Today we're going to just quickly go through the beginning of game week 288. We have the first games in our Challenger Europe League. We'll go over some of the results. Were there any surprises? Were there any standout performances from the first day of game weeks? Hopefully you guys are doing well in your lineups. Right now at time of recording, sweating some Asia. Some good results so far. Kashiwa Rezel kept that clean sheet and got the win. So hopefully my under 23s can pull through. So I'm rooting for that one in general more. So here you can see all the games that were played. We'll start with the top and then work down to the bottom. Just kind of quickly give my thoughts on each one. So we have Midtjylland against Ronders. So it was a 1-1 draw. Midtjylland was minus 182 or a 1.55 favorite. They don't have many starters that are covered. One guy that I do want to cover is Anders Dreyer. You know, he had a 5.5 AA, no decisives. Not a great performance. I did play him, but a guy that, you know, down the road, he's a guy that will get a decent amount of points. If you take a look at his previous, I've talked about him on other videos as well. He put up a lot of good scores. He will put out your 40s and your yellow scores, but they do have him from time to time. I think he has a midweek fixture that, as long as he plays, he should have a really good matchup there. As far as bench and the other squad, nothing really to note. Nothing really there that you're going to do anything with. Next up, this was a surprise. Zenit was unable to beat Kimki on the road, a 1-1 draw in the 85th minute. Kimki tied it up, ruining my clean sheet for Odievsky. The goal scorer was Wendell, who came off after 82 minutes. Malcolm also came off after 82 minutes. Claudinho does not have a card. He had the assist on the goal there. As far as Kimki goes, they had two subs come on and play a role into that. So Mirzov scored, and Dolgov, who doesn't have cards, was the assist man. As you can see here, a couple. The one that I want to talk about is Lomovsky. I don't know. But he had 64.4. He had a 29.4 AA, which is really high, obviously, against a tough matchup. So that's a guy that I'm definitely going to consider in the future, as everyone else did. As you can see, his price spiked very quickly. So I did look at him. I was watching that game, and he lost his under 23 eligibility, so he's super cheap. But, you know, didn't really see those scores last year at Rubin Kazan, but maybe that's a step in the right direction here. But it should be a bottom of the table type team, so I don't know. I might hold off. I almost just snap bought a rare, but, you know, probably not a smart decision off one result. Others that I kind of look at, defensive line, if they would have held that clean sheet, they would have scored a little bit better. Barrios with 52, Kaziev 67.2. So there were a lot of good scores, solid scores, just none of those top scores unless you had Wendell in your lineup. Next one was almost a surprise. Dinamo Zagreb played Lokomotiv. Zagreb, it was a 3-2 game, but Lokomotiv went up 2-0 to start the game. So just kind of my quick thoughts on them. Petkovic didn't really factor in to the game. Here is a guy that went off. 52.9 AA. He didn't have a decisive or anything. Robert Lujovic, I don't know. Names are not my thing. But Zagreb was minus 385 or 1.26 odds. That's pretty impressive. One guy I want to highlight, Sutalo was questionable to start. He did start and play all 90, so that is a very good thing if you have him in under 23. If I personally had him, which I don't, I think I would have held him out just because I wasn't sure if he was going to start or not, but that's very good to see that he started. Zagreb should have, I believe they have a midweek as well. I'll have to check on that if that is true. But they had a lot of green scores. You score 3 goals, obviously that's going to happen. Dermich came off the bench and scored 2. And the other goal was off the bench as well, Manalo, and he scored as well. So some Scores, not great. Bako played right. Bakaj played right back, didn't do very well. Left back obviously didn't do very well and got subbed off his injury. As far as Lokomotiva, you don't have any players to really worry about there because they're not covered. Next game, Cienciano drew 0-0. They're plus 118, 2.18 on the odds. They are covered. I actually did not realize that whenever I was going through. But there's no one really, their left back played well. Didn't come out of the central. But their goalie played really well. Miguel Vargas. He kept that clean sheet, 76.1. A nice AA. If we take a look at him, his price, it's reasonable for goalies. It's about where most of your starting goalies are. And he actually has put up a couple really solid performances. A couple stinkers as well, but he does have that upside to score those green scores. I was not aware of him. That's someone at the Peruvian League that maybe you want to think about. Next one, Sarmiento upset Defensa y Justicia 2-0. Sarmiento had a late red card, but it didn't really factor in the match. Rasmussen with the red. The people that were covered, Castro played the best game. Pretty much everyone else that wasn't covered, nothing really there. The odds were 2.5. Actually, Sarmiento was not favored, so that was an upset. And let's just take a look at some of them. Pretty good AA, Kevin Gutierrez, but no one really off the charts there. So, I'm not really worrying about either of these two teams too much as far as Sorare. Puebla and Leon tied 1-1. Puebla was slight favorite at plus 145 or 2.45. As far as the people that were covered, we have Mancuello, 44.7, and that is it. So not really worried about that as well. Arsenal against Platense. Arsenal was plus 131, 2.31. The players came off the bench that were covered here for Arsenal, and the two that played in the lineup really didn't have that great of a game, nothing to write home about. And then a couple subs. So not really looking at anything here. Last two matches, Aldo Civi lost to Tucumán, and Tucumán was a favorite plus 145, 2.45 on the odds. Left back played well here. Goalie played well here. The midweek, Carlos Lampi. As long as they don't rotate, they have a decent matchup in the midweek. I'm kind of going through midweek. My next video, I'm going to have top 5 goalkeepers of the midweek, since it is a little bit tough to pick up goalkeepers on the midweek. But if you look at his recent form, it is outstanding. I was really surprised whenever I was doing a little bit of research for them. River Plate hasn't played very well, but he scored a 90 against them. 36, not great, but they did win. 60, 67, 69, 60. So very consistent lately after getting that starting role. So that's something to definitely watch in the future. Other than that, maybe for Aldo Civi, a center back if you really are desperate, but nothing really catching my mind. Then the last one, Juarez, plus 123, 2.23 on the odds. Drew with Querétaro. As far as Juarez, goalkeeper's covered. Don't really love him. And Querétaro has a lot. The goalkeeper played well, 66.6, and a penalty save. Washington there. You have a couple other players, but nothing really too interesting. Escamilla played pretty well, 51.8, but nothing really crazy about that. Mexican League doesn't score as much as other leagues in general, so you don't really want to target them unless you really have to. One kind of keynote for Juarez, Machis, who I have, was not in the squad again. He has some sort of knock. I don't really know any timetable, so just keep him out of your lineups until you see him in, either as a starter or as a sub, just to get a little bit of a good sign for that. Okay, so again, that was last night's games, and we're kind of moving forward into Europe, and I'm really excited about it. So I just want to kind of go through, see if there are any performances that were of note. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. See ya.